This is a country shaped by fire and ice. The Earth is still being born here. Volcanoes erupt every few years. Glaciers cover 11% of the island. The sun vanishes for months, then returns for months of endless daylight. Iceland, a place most of the world has never truly understood. Those who live here do not just survive the extremes. They have learned to thrive in them. This is life in Iceland. Iceland sits on the mid-Atlantic ridge, the only place on Earth where two tectonic plates are visible above water: the North American plate and the Eurasian plate. They tear apart at 1 to 18 millimeters every year. At Silfra, a fissure formed by earthquakes in 1789, divers can touch two continents at once. The water is so clear, filtered through underground lava rock for decades, that visibility reaches over 100 meters. The temperature stays just above freezing year-round. Hypothermia can set in within minutes. Yet divers come from across the world to float between continents. Over 30 active volcanic systems lie beneath this small island. Eyjafjallajökull. In 2010, it erupted with such force that an ash cloud rose 10 kilometers high. The cloud drifted across Europe. 300 airports closed. 7 million passengers stranded. Over $1 billion lost. The eruption lasted weeks. The people of Iceland watched from a safe distance. They knew the mountain would sleep again. They had seen it before. Katla, another subglacial volcano, hidden beneath the Jökulsárlón glacier. It erupts every 40 to 80 years on average. The last major eruption was in 1918, over 100 years ago. Scientists say Katla is overdue. When it erupts, the glacial melt will send a massive flood across the southern plains. The people who live there know this. They have evacuation plans. They stay. Vatnajökull, the largest glacier in Europe. It covers 7,700 square kilometers, approximately 10% of Iceland. The ice is 400 meters thick on average. In some places, it reaches 1,000 meters deep. That is over half a mile of compressed snow and ancient air. Beneath this vast ice cap lie several active volcanoes, including Grímsvötn, Iceland's most frequently erupting volcano. When it erupts, the ice melts instantly. Massive floods called Jökulsárlón wash away roads and bridges in hours. The water carries icebergs the size of houses. Yet people still live along the glacial plains. They have learned to read the signs, to listen to the earth. At the edge of Vatnajökull, the Jökulsárlón glacier carves into a lagoon, Jökulsárlón. This lagoon is up to 250 meters deep, the deepest in Iceland. The icebergs that break off are not ordinary ice. Some are made of ice more than 1,000 years old. They float in still water. Their colors shift from milky white to deep, brilliant blue. The blue comes from centuries of compression. The ice is so dense that it absorbs every color of the spectrum except blue. That blue reflects back like a frozen jewel. In winter, the temperature drops. The lagoon partially freezes. Seals come to rest on the floating icebergs. They are curious creatures. They will swim right up to the edge, watching with dark, intelligent eyes. The lagoon flows through a short waterway into the Atlantic Ocean, leaving chunks of ice scattered on a black sand beach. Diamond Beach. The ice glistens in the sun like real diamonds. But they are not diamonds. They are fragments of an ancient glacier, melting, slowly, irreversibly. Hidden beneath the surface of Vatnajökull, something extraordinary forms. Ice caves. They are carved by melting water that flows through the glacier, creating tunnels and cavities. In winter, when temperatures drop and become stable, the water freezes. What remains is a cathedral of crystal. Inside, sunlight penetrates the ice layers. It refracts into diamond blue and crystal white hues. The ceiling glows in surreal shades of deep blue, light blue, white, gray, and sometimes even violet or black. Beneath your feet lies the frozen texture of ancient air bubbles. Air that has been trapped for centuries. These caves are not permanent. They can last several months or collapse suddenly. The glacier is alive. It moves. It cracks. It breathes. To enter an ice cave is to walk inside a living, breathing creature. And that creature does not care if you live or die. Guides check the conditions daily. One wrong step, one sudden change in temperature, the ice can fall. Yet every winter, people come from across the world. Because there is nothing else like it on Earth. Gullfoss. The Golden Falls. The Eyjafjallajökull River plunges 32 meters down 2 tiers, into a crevice 70 meters deep and 2.5 kilometers long. The water falls at an average rate of 140 cubic meters per second in summer. That is 140,000 liters every second. Enough to fill an Olympic swimming pool in less than 10 seconds. The mist rises so high that on sunny days, rainbows form across the gorge. Visitors can feel the spray on their faces from over 100 meters away. In winter, the waterfall freezes. The mist becomes ice. The rocks become slick. The path becomes dangerous. People still come. They stand on the edge, wrapped in layers of wool and windproof fabric, just to hear the roar. Skógafoss. The falls drop 60 meters. The width is 25 meters. The spray creates rainbows on sunny days. On cloudy days, the water turns gray. The sky turns gray. The world disappears into mist. Beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Legend says a Viking settler, Rasi Orolfsson, buried a treasure in a cave behind the waterfall. The treasure has never been found. The waterfall is so powerful that the ground shakes when you stand near it. The mist soaks you within seconds. In winter, ice forms on the rocks. The path becomes a sheet of black ice. People still climb the stairs to feel the power. Dettifoss. Not the tallest, but the most powerful. The waterfall is 100 meters wide. It drops 44 meters into the Jökulsárlón canyon. The average water flow is 193 cubic meters per second. At peak flow, it can reach 500 cubic meters per second. That is enough water to fill an Olympic swimming pool every 5 seconds. The roar of the falls can be heard from over a kilometer away. The ground vibrates beneath your feet. You feel the power before you see it. In winter, the spray freezes on the surrounding rocks. The path becomes treacherous. People have slipped. People have fallen. The canyon does not forgive. Reynisfjara. One of the most famous black sand beaches in the world. The sand is not sand. It is volcanic ash, ground down by waves over centuries. The basalt columns that rise from the shore are perfectly hexagonal. They look like a giant's organ pipes, stacked in neat, geometric rows. They are the result of lava cooling slowly, cracking into these perfect shapes. But Reynisfjara is dangerous. Sneaker waves come without warning. They can rush up the beach, reaching far beyond where previous waves have traveled. Tourists have been swept out to sea. Some have died. Locals know this. They watch the ocean. They never turn their backs on the water. Warning signs are posted in multiple languages. Every year, someone ignores them. The ocean does not forgive. Offshore, the Reynisfjara sea stacks rise from the water. Legend says they are trolls who tried to drag a ship to shore. They were caught by the sunrise. They turned to stone. They still stand there today. Watching, waiting. The Jökulsárlón geothermal field. Home to Giza, the original geyser that gave its name to every other geyser on Earth. Giza is mostly dormant now. It erupts rarely, unpredictably. But its neighbor, Strokka, erupts every 5 to 10 minutes. Day and night. Without stopping. The water shoots 20 to 30 meters into the air. Steam rises. The earth rumbles. This is not a tourist attraction dressed up for visitors. This is the earth breathing. The water that erupts is heated by magma chambers deep underground. It travels through fissures, building pressure until it can no longer be contained. Then it explodes upward. The cycle repeats. Every few minutes. Every hour. Every day. For thousands of years. Eldhraun. One of the largest lava fields on Earth. It covers 565 square kilometers. It was formed during a volcanic eruption in the late 1700s. That eruption was so massive that it caused failed crops across Europe. Some historians say it contributed to the French Revolution. Here, in Iceland, it simply destroyed everything in its path. Today, the lava is covered in thick, green moss. Woolly fringe moss. It grows incredibly slowly. In some places, the moss is 30 centimeters thick. That represents over 200 years of growth. If you step on the moss, it takes decades to recover. If it recovers at all. The landscape is surreal. The moss softens the harsh, black lava rock. From a distance, it looks like a fairy tale. Up close, you can see the jagged edges beneath. The sharp, unforgiving rock that could shred your boots if you wander off the path. This is nature's softness covering nature's violence. A truce between destruction and life. Landmannalaga. The highlands of Iceland are the country's most remote region. There are no paved roads. No villages. No gas stations. Only gravel and river crossings and vast, empty landscapes. The mountains here are not grey or green. They are rhyolite. Red, yellow, orange, pink, purple. The colors shift with the light. At sunrise, the mountains glow like embers. At sunset, they burn like fire. The rivers are freezing cold. They come directly from glacier. Crossing them on foot can cause hypothermia in minutes. The weather can change from sunny to blizzard in less than an hour. People have gotten lost here. People have died here. Yet hikers come from across the world. They walk for days through this empty, colorful land. They say it changes them. Herabray. A table mountain, or tuia. It was formed when a volcano erupted beneath an ice sheet during the Ice Age. The ice capped the lava, forcing it to spread sideways. When the ice melted, a flat-topped mountain remained. Many Icelanders consider Herabray the most beautiful mountain in the country. It stands alone in the Odaron Desert, the most extensive lava field in Iceland. There is nothing around it for kilometers. Just lava. Just silence. Just the mountain, watching over the empty land. In winter, the road to Herabray is closed. The snow makes it impassable. Only the hardiest travelers attempt the journey in summer. Most turn back. The Westfjords. Less than 7,500 people live in this entire region. It is larger than the state of Connecticut, but with only 7,500 inhabitants. The fjords are deep. The mountains are steep. The roads are narrow, unpaved, and often closed in winter. Some villages have fewer than 100 people. Some have no road connection at all. The only way to reach them is by boat, or by hiking over mountain passes. In Eyjafjallajökull, the main town, about 2,600 people live. They are connected to the rest of Iceland by a single 7-kilometer wide strip of land. The mountains are so steep that the sun disappears for months during winter. The town sits in shadow, waiting for spring. The people who live here are resilient. They have to be. Hornstrandur Nature Reserve. The northernmost point of the Westfjords. This area has been almost uninhabited since 1952. The last residents left because life was too harsh, too isolated, too dangerous. Now, the only permanent residents are Arctic foxes. Hornstrandur is the only place in Iceland where Arctic foxes are completely protected from hunting. They are so unafraid of humans that they will approach within a few meters. They are Iceland's only native land mammal. They have survived here for thousands of years, long before humans ever arrived. In winter, the only way to reach Hornstrandur is by ski. Across frozen fjords. Through blizzards. The cold can kill in hours. Yet a handful of people still make the journey. They come to see the foxes. They come to feel what true isolation means. Eyjafjallajökull. A village of 700 people, perched at the end of a narrow, twisting fjord in eastern Iceland. It is known for its thriving art scene and large number of resident artists. Somehow, in this remote corner of the world, creativity flourishes. The white wooden church at the end of the rainbow-painted street is one of the most photographed spots in Iceland. In winter, the snow piles so high that the streets become tunnels. People walk beneath the snow, not on top of it. The road to Eyjafjallajökull crosses a mountain pass that is often closed due to avalanches. People have died in those avalanches. The people who live here know this. They check the forecast before every drive. They stay. They paint. They create beauty in the harshest environment imaginable. For over 1,000 years, Icelanders built their homes from turf. Blocks cut from the earth itself. Grass and soil up to 1 meter thick, stacked over a base layer of rock. The turf provided insulation against the brutal cold. It was the only material available in sufficient quantity. Wood was scarce. Stone was difficult to work. But turf was everywhere. Up to 50% of Icelandic dwellings were partially comprised of turf until the late 19th century. Then, as populations clustered in Reykjavik, wood and stone replaced the old ways. But some turf houses still stand. Glomber, in northern Iceland, is the most extensive and intact group of turf buildings in the country. Walking through them feels like stepping back in time. The rooms are low. The ceilings are dark. The windows are small. But inside, it is warm. The turf protects against wind and cold in a way that modern materials cannot replicate. The Icelandic horse. The original Viking horse. When the Vikings settled Iceland in the 9th century, they brought their horses with them. The breed has remained pure for over 1,000 years. No other horses are allowed into Iceland. If an Icelandic horse leaves the country, it can never return. The government enforces this law strictly. The breed is that important. The Icelandic horse is small. Some call it a pony. Do not call it a pony in front of an Icelander. It is a horse. A strong, powerful, courageous animal. It has a thick double coat to protect against the harsh winters. It has 5 gaits, instead of the usual 3 or 4. The tolt is a smooth, 4-beat gait that allows the rider to sit comfortably while the horse covers ground quickly. It is unique to Icelandic horses. There are more Icelandic horses outside of Iceland than within it. But the heart of the breed remains here, on this cold, windy island. The horses run free in the summer. They are rounded up in the fall, in the annual reta. The horses know the land. They know the weather. They have survived here for centuries, alongside the people who bred them. From September to April, the sky above Iceland comes alive. The northern lights. The aurora borealis. Charged particles from the sun collide with Earth's magnetic field, creating curtains of green, purple, red, and blue light that dance across the sky. The best viewing months are November through February, when the nights are longest. The sun can set as early as 3:30 p.m. and not rise again until after 11 a.m. Almost 20 hours of darkness. In some winters, the lights appear almost every clear night. The display can last for minutes or hours. The colors shift and fade, then return stronger than before. The light moves like silk in the wind. It is silent. Even when the display is most intense, there is no sound. Just silence. Just the sky, burning with color. The Vikings believed the northern lights were reflections from the shields of the Valkyries, female warriors who chose who would live and die in battle. Others thought they were the spirits of the dead dancing in the sky. Scientists now understand the physics behind the lights. But standing beneath them, in the cold, in the dark, with the colors swirling overhead, science feels inadequate. It is something else. Something beyond explanation. In the northernmost parts of Iceland, the sun does not rise at all for several weeks. The world is dark. The only light comes from the stars, the moon, and the northern lights. In Eyjafjallajökull, the sun vanishes behind the mountains in late November. It does not return until late January. The people who live there call this time the dark season. They have learned to adapt. They use artificial lights. They drink coffee. They gather together. They wait. In the summer, the opposite happens. The midnight sun. The sun does not set for weeks. In June, in the northernmost parts of Iceland, the sun is visible for 24 hours a day. It circles the sky, never dropping below the horizon. The world is bathed in golden light at midnight. Children play outside at 2 a.m. Hikers climb mountains at 3 a.m. The concept of night loses meaning. This extreme shift between seasons affects everything. Mood, sleep, energy. Some people thrive in the endless light. They feel more alive, more productive. Others struggle, their bodies unable to adjust to the constant brightness. In winter, Some people fall into depression. The darkness weighs on them. The cold seeps into their bones. But they stay. This is their home. The Ring Road. Route 1. It circles the entire country, 1,332 kilometers long. Most of it is 2 lanes. Much of it is empty. You can drive for hours without seeing another car. The landscape changes constantly. Lava fields, glacier, black sand deserts, green valleys, fjords, mountains, no billboards, no strip malls, no advertisements, just the road and the land and the sky. In winter, the Ring Road can close without warning. Snowstorms blow in from the Arctic. Wind speeds reach 50 meters per second. Cars are blown off the road. Visibility drops to 0. The Icelandic Road and Coastal Administration warns drivers to check conditions before traveling. Many ignore the warnings. Some get stuck. Some die. But in summer, the Ring Road is paradise. The sun is warm. The days are long. The wildflowers bloom. Tourists from around the world drive the entire loop, stopping at waterfalls, glacier, and black sand beaches. They take photos. They buy souvenirs. They leave. The locals stay behind. They know something that tourists never learn. They know that the beauty of this land is inseparable from its danger. You cannot have one without the other. Brabunga, a stratovolcano hidden beneath Vatnajökull. In 2014, it erupted for 6 months. 6 months. The largest eruption in Iceland in over 200 years. The lava covered 85 square kilometers. It created a new lava field, now called Jökulsárlón. The lava was so hot that it glowed red at night. The gases released caused air pollution across the country. People in Reykjavik, 250 kilometers away, were advised to stay indoors. Beneath the ice, the volcano is still active. Seismic activity continues. The magma chamber is still there. It will erupt again. No one knows when. No one knows how large the eruption will be. But the people of Iceland know this. They accept it. They live with it. They have no choice. RSMRK, a nature reserve named after Thor, the god of thunder. It sits between 3 glaciers, Eyjafjallajökull, Jökulsárlón, and Vatnajökull. The only way to reach it is by crossing glacial rivers. Rivers that rise and fall with the temperature. Rivers that can swallow a vehicle if the driver misjudges the depth. In summer, the rivers are low enough to cross. In winter, they are frozen solid. In spring, when the ice melts, they become torrents of icy water, impossible to cross. The window of access is only a few months long. Those who make the journey are rewarded with a landscape unlike any other. Green valleys, birch forests, glacial rivers winding through black sand, mountains rising on all sides, their peaks covered in snow. The air is clean. The silence is complete. You can stand at the edge of a river, watching the water flow, and hear nothing but the wind. Iceland has a population of only 376,000 people. More than half of them live in the capital, Reykjavik. The rest are scattered across the island, living in small towns and isolated farms. They are descended from Vikings and Celts. They speak a language that has changed very little in 1,000 years. An Icelander today can read the sagas written in the 13th century without translation. The language is that pure, that unchanged. The people are resilient. They have to be. They have survived volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, avalanches, storms, famines, plague. They have adapted to the darkness of winter and the endless light of summer. They have learned to read the land and the sky. They know when a storm is coming. They know when the river is rising. They know when the volcano is about to wake up. They are also some of the happiest people on Earth. Year after year, Iceland ranks near the top of the World Happiness Report. Despite the cold, despite the darkness, despite the danger. Perhaps because of all those things. Because they know what really matters. Community, family, resilience. This is life in Iceland. A life lived on the edge of the world. Shaped by fire and ice, by darkness and light, by danger and beauty intertwined. The people here do not conquer nature. They respect it. They learn from it. They adapt to it. And in doing so, they have created something unique. A nation of survivors. A nation of storytellers. A nation that refuses to be defeated by the forces that created it. From the glacier to the volcanoes, from the black sand beaches to the green valleys, from the turf houses to the modern cities, Iceland is a testament to the power of resilience. The land itself is alive. It moves. It breathes. It erupts. And the people who live here move with it. They breathe with it. They endure. This is life in Iceland. And there is nothing else like it on Earth.